Hello everyone, welcome to our new series, Confessions of a GC. Today we have our interior designer, Danielle, joining us. And design is one of our core principles as a company. And it's one of the things that we're most passionate about. So we're gonna be touching on kitchens today and how the challenges of designing in kitchens are. What challenges do you have when designing a kitchen? And walk us through what goes through your mind when you first step into a client's home and they want to remodel a kitchen. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges with designing a kitchen is the layout of the space. Depending on if there's structural walls, if we're moving plumbing or keeping it there. But when I first walk into space, I immediately visualize the concept in my head. And then from there, I work with the client to figure out what their needs and wants are and their overall design aesthetic they're looking for. And then I work with 3D rendering software to bring it to life in a photorealistic rendering so that the client can actually visualize what the space is going to look like, because that can be difficult for a lot of people to do, and it really helps them feel comfortable and confident in our ability to design their kitchen.
So you take measurements of the kitchen and then you grab that information, that data, and then you put that into the computer. So you use like AutoCAD, like software that an architect would use, right, as an interior designer.
Yeah, we go take measurements of the space, and then I use AutoCAD, Revit, SketchUp, a variety of programs that designers and architects both use to create the space, do the layout, elevations and everything. And then from there, you plug that into the 3D rendering software.
And that's something this is something not anybody knows, right? Not everyone knows how to use SketchUp, 2020, AutoCAD. That's something that's taught at the school level, right? You're an interior designer. You studied interior design.
Yes.
In Wisconsin, right?
Missouri.
Oh, in Missouri,
yeah,
okay.
From Wisconsin, studying Missouri.
You're from Wisconsin, studying Missouri.
I know, I've been all over the place, but school, you learn a lot of the different programs. Specifically, the school I attended, they really made an effort to teach us a wide variety of programs, but there are so many that even after graduation, I'm still finding myself learning different programs and teaching myself, always continuing my education, because there's always new things coming out, wanting to stay up to date and really keeping ahead of the trends in all of the different markets that are coming and going.
You worked in New York, right? For years. You worked in New York. You were in these huge penthouses, designing these beautiful kitchens, beautiful homes, and one of the nicest areas in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Walk us through what was probably that project that really kind of caught your eye that you did.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I worked with some really high-end clientele out in New York. We had one project, we were doing a remodel of a penthouse in Manhattan, and we were doing the whole thing. We did the entire wall was all marble with a built-in fireplace, a very extravagant redesign, but the difference between New York and California is very different, but it's one of the things I love about design is everywhere you go, there's a different market, different aesthetic, and there's so much you can do with it. But New York, there's a lot of experience gained there just with the market out there.
Yeah, there's that difference in design from that city in New York, right? That more modern, and
very
this is
modern.
more coastal, right? You get a lot of that design is more coastal in this area. So walk me now through so you're going into the kitchen of a client that wants to remodel, that part of their home. And do you automatically envision that kitchen, like that remodel kitchen in your head, or is it something that it takes time to develop and you have to go back to your office and kind of start working on it, or is it boom, instantly do you just envision it?
Like when I go into space, I immediately envision what I want to do with it, the design concept that I have, and then go back to the office, and that's where a lot of creativity comes into play to actually being able to bring that vision to life in that space, working around with sourcing the materials, doing the layout of the space, and then also making sure that it fits the client's lifestyles and needs as well. So there's a lot that goes into creating the design, but as soon as I go into a space, I immediately envision what I can do with it.
That's remarkable. I mean, not a lot of people really know or can do that, right? Not a lot of people go into a space and already see that end product, right? It takes some time to develop it. So that's something that's truly remarkable.
Thank you.
Now, the material selection process, when you envision that, you already see that material basically install? Like, for example, stone, right? So being such
Yeah.
a critical part of a kitchen, right?
Yeah, stone is definitely one of the most important parts of a kitchen design. It's really one of the focal points of the space. So immediately I have an idea of what I want, and then that's where you're going and sourcing the material that it's high quality, but also matches the overall concept that we have. And then it really just goes down to sourcing materials that match the vision. There's all the different cabinetry finishes, so I immediately know what kind of wood I want, what tone, overall color, all of that. And then I work with the client to make gain what their aesthetic they want to, and then match that.
What is, like, if you were to pick one stone, what's your favorite stone?
My favorite stone has to be Calicata Viola. It's always been my favorite stone since
Beautiful.
I was a kid. I've always loved designs, why I went into this profession to begin with, and I've always been drawn to the bold, rich colors in it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful stone. Taj
Yeah.
Mahal is also gorgeous, and that's one that we're using a lot right now.
Cabinet style, what is your favorite cabinet style? Is it frameless? Is it inset? Is it an overlay?
It's going to be inset by a long shot. It's just the most high-end, timeless, luxurious cabinet style. It's built into the cabinet, looks like furniture. It looks really intentional and luxurious. Frameless is also really beautiful, clean lines, but it's inset is definitely my favorite cabinet style.
Oh, wow, I agree. Frameless, inset for me is
Yeah.
also my favorite. It's like a piece of furniture.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And hardware, I mean, what is your favorite, what's your go-to? I mean, if not a go-to, but what's one of, like, your favorite hardware color?
Yeah, hardware is super important. It's like, as you say, the jewelry of the kitchen. It really can make or break a kitchen if you don't have the right hardware. But I've always loved brass. It's very timeless, the warmth that it brings into the space. And then I also been loving hardware with some texture on it as well to bring in some like visual and tactile texture into the space.
Yeah, I think a good manufacturer of hardware is probably that I like. Or that have done a really good job is maybe Amtech, right? Schaub,
Amtech,
and
Schaub,
those
top
even Belwick
knobs.
Keeler top knobs too.
Yeah.
They're always kind of on top of the design trends, right?
Yeah, they're always coming out with new collections that are always really trendy, super
And-
high quality as well.
What do you see being the trend for this year? Give me 3 things that you see are going to be super important for 2026.
2026, right now we're seeing it was really trendy to have more of a light stained wood, but now we're kind of moving more into that mid-tone to darker range, as well as walnut is coming back in as well. And then also I'll say that stone staying very, not very dramatic, a simple, subtle stone with beautiful veining. Those are the top 3 trends going into 2026.
Do you see arches kind of being part of that?
Yes, arches are very big right now. It really just adds like visual design to space.
Yeah, I agree.
But it just like frames it beautifully.
Especially when you're doing that, because you see a lot of nowadays. You see a lot of arches being, the homes are probably built in the 80s, 90s. The arches are not like the radius is not perfect, right?
Yeah.
You see, like so midway starts kind of creating that curvature, so it's kind of like a semi-arch.
Yeah.
Those type arches they look horrible, right?
Yeah, they don't look
But
that good.
the arches, you're designing, we're using in a lot of our kitchens. It's just you can see that perfect curvature, right?
perfect radius.
Yeah, and we're going all the way up almost to the ceiling, so it creates that height and that depth that you're looking for.
Yeah, it makes the space feel bigger too with that added radius up top.
And then lighting, what do you think? Talk to me about lighting for 2026. We've talked about toe kick lighting in another episode, but that being also a huge design feature. And, but lighting fixtures, how about that? Any lighting fixtures you feel are going to be a big thing for 2026?
Yeah, toe kick lighting, under cabinet lighting, for the past few years now have been a really big part of elevating the design of a kitchen. For lighting fixtures, I'll say that right now we're seeing a lot of brass lighting, and also lighting that instead of glass for the bulb is kind of more of like a stone texture to add more interest to the space, add more texture to the space.
Yes, it's all about having that type of feel, right? Giving that warmth to a kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Danielle, for being part of today's episode.
Thanks for having me.
we look forward to having you again in episodes to come. Guys, thank you for following us and for tuning in to this Confessions of a GC episode. Stay tuned for the next one.